Hello, Masa speaking. Today's topic is make additional $1,000 every month by reading. Why does it matter? Everybody wants to make money, but let me talk about it for a second. So it's focusing on lifetime income gain, so it makes quite a lot of difference by the time you grow old, and you can use this additional money to invest that grow cumulatively. You can start earlier. That would be better by the end of 65. Just keeps growing and growing. You can have extra vacation with your girlfriend. You can upgrade your apartment, live in a bigger place, or move down to downtown, saving some commute time. Or you can have one nice dinner at a French restaurant. Why should you care about making more income consciously? Salary has been stagnant in America for over 20 years. You can see the whole graph about inflation adjusted dollar that hasn't changed since almost forever. Based on that graph, it could be said that things hasn't changed since 1973. So since our parents' generation, for over 40 or 50 years, nothing has changed, and it's up to you to grow your income. The time when you could get a nice job in a big corporation like IBM or Intel or mega banks and wait for promotion, those era has ended. You gotta ride this wave upward. Yeah, so and before degree was enough to set you apart, but nowadays more and more people go to school, so school itself is not a good enough differentiator. Lastly, job market is changing. So many people work in the IT industry that did not exist more than 20 years ago. An AI revolution is coming. Oxford says 60% of the jobs will be impacted with some kind of automation by the year 2030s. It could be automated telecommunication, or the biggest one is truck driving. So self-driving cars will come, and those truck drivers will lose their jobs, and that's crazy. It's the biggest employment category in the US. So most of us would need to switch job by the time we become retired. Doesn't matter what you have studied back in school, you need to continuously upgrade the skills. So what did the research find this time? So it's a study done in 2015 by University of Padua. It's an Italian university. They found men that are born between 1920 and 1956. The number is 5,820, so it's significant size. And they were aged between 25 to 55, so it's pretty much everybody. And they measured the lifetime impact back in 2006. So they followed them up for 50 to 86 years. They found their income. It's a long period, and it removes the potential bias of recession and economic boom. Those who are struggling with the jobs because of the virus, it won't be counted over the span of 50 years. The up and down will be averaged out properly. And they asked how many books they had at home when they were 10. They counted by a shelf of books, or like 2 bookshelves, or whole giant bookshelves. Didn't count textbooks or magazines or newspapers. They tried to find a correlation between the number of books at home and the lifetime income. What do you think? So those who had 10 books at home by the age 10 were making 21% more annually. 21%. The difference here is whether you're making 60,000 a year versus 72,600 a year. That's only 1 year we're talking about. So in 5 years, the difference is $63,000. And with that much money, you can buy a nice high-end Tesla, impress all of your friends here. And of course, the difference gets bigger and bigger in your lifetime. In 30 years from now, the difference will go to $378,000. You can buy a nice big cottage in a nice countryside with forest and lake and relaxing. It's beautiful. The effects were across countries, so it didn't matter where you come from. The study was done in Europe, but I can see it will be the same result in America. Difference appeared even between the families with the same background. So it didn't matter if your parents were working as a farmer, raising horses, or whether they were elite accountants, or maybe even the president. It's the same. If you didn't grow up in a rich family, you should focus on self-education. That's one implication here. And the researchers suggested that it's the culture of encouraging reading that facilitated the boost in income. So it was the 10 books threshold, but it didn't matter if you had 100 books or 1,000 books. Having 10 books at home was a good enough differentiator. And it suggested the impact of social significance. Students, or you can still borrow books from library at any time, even from your friends, but do you do it? Most likely not. It's more of a culture of reading and engaging in this kind of environment that boosted this learning value into your daily life or lifelong learning culture. The study had a bonus experiment, so they also tested the impact of additional year of compulsory education and income. So it was around the time of World War II and the finishing it. They were expanding the compulsory education, whether it's one more year in high school, for example, and the additional year of school improved your income by 9% at the time. But it's still less than the impact of having 10 books at home. That was 21%. It's huge. Again, it's annual gain, so it accumulates to a huge amount. But this additional year of schooling had a huge, biggest impact in the rural area, and those who had 10 books at home. If you didn't have 10, then the additional year of schooling was not effective. And you'll be probably wasting a year, not learning much, not gaining additional income. Jordan Peterson is my favorite. He was a cultural phenomenon 2 years ago. I'm sure you've heard of him in YouTube. He spent his childhood reading a lot of books, and he grew up in this small town in the west side of Canada. I've never been there. It's so middle of nowhere. Okay, but now he's like an intellectual phenomenon representing this dark web movement. The speculation is in the rural area. It's hard to access information. Everybody around you is more or less similar. So books are the only way to access outside information, what kind of jobs exist, etc. So if you're thinking of going to university or master, and if you grew up in rural areas with lots of books, you would have a lot more gain from that investment. So what can you do? This is the most important takeaway from here. So here, the theme is not about raw knowledge. It's not about reading more books when you're a kid. It's about the culture, the attitude of curiosity and ambition. It's lifelong learning, knowledge-seeking behavior and social environment that connects with your income gain. So making friends who read and who you can discuss about it changes a lot, will have a positive impact. And I didn't grow up in a family that did a lot of reading. It was all about TVs. But one day, when I was about 24, I met a friend who read a lot more books, and he got me into book reading. We engaged in books that we read, the self-help books, like does it gonna improve our productivity? Is it correct that whatever they're saying is wrong, right? Very it impacted my life quite heavily. I got into book reading habits since then. If you don't have a friend, you can talk about books. You can join a local book club. If you're in the big city, you should definitely check out Meetup. They have several book clubs. In Toronto, there are more than 11 book clubs, from generic non-fiction categories to more like historical reading of world. You can pick a country by month, say Croatia history, and then you can read about it. It's a great way to dig deep into the world history. It's a face-to-face interaction, so now it's a little slow with post-coronavirus, but after around July, in case of Canada, I saw some events coming up, depending on where you are, of course. It will be more interesting. And you can also join online book clubs, Facebook. I'm sure you have one account, and there's one called Monthly Book Club. You just need to search up book club, and there are several thousands of book clubs you can join. Very easy to start, usually private, so you need to ask for permission, but they won't reject you, most definitely not. And Goodreads is a social network dedicated for book reading. It is my favorite. I'm on it as well for maybe 5-6 years. And like people who are on high profile is using it too. So Bill Gates keep up regularly about his book reviews here. And there's Oprah's book club that's quite active. Oprah herself is maintaining this community. It's quite refreshing. Yeah. So keep in mind, some book clubs are focusing solely on fiction and the other is non-fiction, so depending on your style, you should pick the one you like more. And you can ask, if you want to go out with somebody, you can ask on the first date, what kind of books do you read, what did you read last time, what's your favorite book, and it's a great conversation starter. And you can also decide if you want to start going out with her or not, based on her book habit. It's up to you, of course. So yeah, it's good to invest in the soft skill learning. So the biggest takeaway from this paper is to establish that social learning environment instead of relying just on the formal education. And again, this is about lifetime earnings, so it's not just what you are making when you were 25 or 6, it goes on forever. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you liked it, please hit like or subscribe. In this channel, I'm making videos to improve your life with the latest scientific findings. And don't forget to check out Kappa Extension. It boosts your memory from reading, enhance critical thinking, and discover your inner value with self-reflection. It's very easy to set up. It's free. It gives you daily report on your online reading with auto tracking. Okay, so see you next time.